Welcome to the Leadership Lounge, a place to kick back and listen as our experts dissect some of the biggest questions leaders face today. I'm Emma Coombe, Leadership Advisor in our London office. And in today's episode, we're talking about the power of mentoring. The quickening pace of change is leaving many leaders feeling overwhelmed and underprepared. And as a leader, you're often on your own. It's in these high-stake moments that leaders can benefit from the support of a mentor. A mentor is somebody who's a wise role model, somebody who's been there and done that, and can share their wisdom because they've lived in your shoes and have faced similar challenges. When a mentoring relationship is fostered correctly, mentors can put you in the driving seat of your career. They can empower you to explore options or ideas that were previously unimaginable. They can give you access to untapped opportunities, and they can teach you how to navigate obstacles that you never even saw coming. The connection between a mentor and a mentee can be one of the most powerful relationships in business. But when it comes to choosing a mentor, what should you prioritize? What does a great mentor-mentee relationship look like? And when in your career can you benefit most from a mentor? Before we dive in, remember to share any burning questions you want our experts to answer by emailing redefiners@russellreynolds.com. We look forward to hearing from you. So, I'm really excited to bring in some of our experts on this topic, colleagues of mine from around the world. First up, we'd like to welcome Symon Elliott, a leadership advisor in Russell Reynolds Associates London office. Symon, it's great to have you in the lounge with us today. You work really heavily in this space, helping leaders find the mentors they need to succeed. Can you tell us a little bit about why leaders might want to start thinking about a mentor and what value a mentor can bring?
The mentor has two primary roles. The first is to accelerate performance. So how you new in job, how do you hit the ground running? How can you really deliver against some very challenging objectives in your first year on the job? The second role is about risk mitigation. How do you avoid the pitfalls? How do you learn from mistakes?
Can you share some of the most common scenarios when a leader leans on their mentor for advice?
They may have an investor meeting next week and they may have some bad news to give and they want to know how to deliver that. They may have some new market challenges and they may want to discuss with a mentor, how do we really accelerate our growth in these markets? They may be presenting a particular issue to the board and they want a sounding board to give them some advice and guidance on how to do that. So absolutely, there are specific situations that a mentor can help on.
So having a mentor, whether you're a budding leader or a seasoned CEO, can have an incredibly positive impact on your performance. In fact, according to CEO data from Harvard Business Review, 84% of CEOs credited mentors with helping them avoid costly mistakes. 71% said company performance had improved, and 69% said they were better at making decisions. I'd like to bring another one of our leadership advisors, Steve Morse, who's based in our Houston office, into the conversation. Steve, we know that CEO turnover is at an all-time high. Do you think that mentoring could help increase the longevity of the success of a CEO?
Yeah, there are two critical aspects to longevity for a CEO. One relates to their professional development, and the second relates to their personal development. With a mentor, having sat in a seat as a CEO previously, one of the unique aspects of that is how they can impact the CEO's professional development, helping them really be side by side in aspects of thinking about developing themselves in terms of their strategic thinking skills, their leadership skills, how they're working in building culture and connecting with others, not just within the organization, but with external stakeholders. A mentor will provide a prism by which the CEO can improve and refine their emotional intelligence and really shape their personal ethos and focus on the role in a way that is very unique by working with a mentor. So it provides a platform for the CEO to work very closely on both that professional and personal development. And ultimately, what that does is it really empowers the CEO to perpetual growth over time.
You're right, Steve. It's about finding someone who can propel you forward for professional and personal success. Symon, We know that finding the right mentor is critical. Can you tell me a bit about what leaders need to prioritize? What are the best things to look out for? Is it similar industry expertise or something else?
I always recommend that industry experience is probably the least important quality to finding a mentor. I think it's more important that you find a mentor who's actually faced the same challenges as you are facing in your role. And so when we identify mentors, we really want to get an understanding of what have they faced in their careers. Is it about working with activists? Is it culture change? Is it crisis leadership? Is it M&A? Is it IPO? And how can we actually use those experiences of a mentor to support a leader who's actually facing similar challenges and really match that to what the mentee is looking for? What are the challenges in the mentee's job? And clearly, chemistry's got to be right. Both mentor and mentee have got to feel as though they can work very effectively together. They've got to feel as though they can express themselves, that they can trust each other, that they can be critical friends in many ways.
I know another one of our leadership advisors, Mia Keinanen from our Oslo office, wanted to talk to this point too. Mia, what do you think are the best things to look out for when finding the right mentor?
I would start with the values first. What are the values of the mentor and do they match yours? And then, of course, you can think about what is the challenge? What do you want to learn? What are you interested in? Who do you admire? What do you aspire to? These are all very useful questions. But the thing about mentoring relationship is that you can't really force them. So usually it's so that you find a mentor or mentor finds you, and there is something there that attracts you to each other. I would look for mentors who might even be contradictory to each other because they represent new knowledge. And if you're lucky, you might combine the new knowledge in a way that has never happened before.
You're right. Having those shared values is fundamental to a successful mentoring relationship. Although I would advise against choosing a mentor who is too similar to you, as you will start to want someone who can bring an entirely different perspective into the conversation. I was very fortunate to benefit from mentoring when the business I was working for was acquired by Russell Reynolds several years ago. A more senior colleague was really generous with her time, and it was quite informal, but she mentored me as we navigated a new environment, helped me understand stakeholder relationships, helped me manage new resource that was required, and also helped me support others who were going through that transition. Once you have established a connection with a mentor, often the next step to consider is, how do I get the best out of my mentor? Steve, how would you advise that mentees approach the relationship?
One of the most critical aspects of a mentee working with a mentor is ensuring that the mentee really show up in a fully transparent, fully open, and very vulnerable way over time. A mentee-mentor relationship takes time. And as time progresses, it's essential that the mentee really feel extremely comfortable in terms of opening up in a way that's a safe place that exploits many of the vulnerabilities that we all have, allowing those vulnerabilities and anxieties and questions to come forward. And by doing so, it really allows the mentor to step in and really come from a place of past experience where they can provide real-time support and guidance in addressing issues that the leader or CEO might be facing at that specific time.
Definitely. While leaders are becoming more vulnerable, there's also a limit to how much you can really share with your peers or your employees. So a mentor-mentee relationship is really unique in that respect. It's one of the most sacred places where you can really be honest about your challenges. And when you do acknowledge these imperfections, you're often more likely to be open to new ideas and ways of working. Another key element to a fruitful mentoring relationship is being primed to receive constructive feedback and not to become defensive. Now, while many mentoring relationships last years, if not decades, there are certain pivotal moments in a mentee's career when a mentor can have the biggest impact. Mia, when do you think a mentor can bring the most value?
Mentoring is excellent for many parts of your life and many situations of your life. But there is a time developmentally that it's especially fertile. Actually, the most fertile time for that is it's more developmentally when your own identity hasn't formed completely yet. So in your early 20s, before you even have your career, you find a person that you click with, and this person takes you under your wing. I hear that the most profound relationship tends to be around that time, forming identity, forming your idea about yourself as a professional, understanding your ethics, seeing how your mentor puts the ethics at use, seeing how to be strong in adversity. All these things are very important.
I think many leaders will fondly look on those early mentoring relationships, maybe from when they first stepped into a leadership position. I didn't have mentors early on in my career, and it wasn't until I stepped into new environments, and particularly ones where I found more influential women in leadership roles, that I developed these kind of relationships, and I think it had a huge impact on my career. I felt for the first time really supported and believed in, and I felt that my potential was unlocked in a totally different way. Symon, are there other times in your career when having a mentor can have a marked impact?
We think there are 3 specific role contexts where a mentor is helpful. The first and most obvious one is, I've just taken on this new job. I've never done the job before. I need someone who's done the job before to help me think through some of the issues I'm facing. And then particularly as a CEO, that's the case. As I said earlier, CEO is a very lonely job, and therefore having a mentor who's independent and outside the organization can be really helpful. So that's the first area. I think the second area where a mentor can be helpful is if you've been identified as a successor, as a CEO successor in an organization. Even though it may be 2 or 3 years away, you've got to plan your journey to achieving that promotion. And a mentor can really help you on that journey in terms of developing you to be ready to take on those new responsibilities. The third area is you might have been enrolled for a number of years, CEO, but you're facing a particular challenge. And that challenge could be to do with corporate activity, internal culture change, particular crises or disruption. But it's a challenge you haven't seen before. And so having a mentor who's seen that before could be really helpful as you navigate through that period of change.
That's interesting, your second point about how invaluable a mentor can be for leaders who are transitioning into a new leadership position. In our Global Leadership Monitor, 71% of the CEOs we surveyed felt that mentoring is something that could have been better incorporated during their transition into the CEO role. Mentoring is definitely something that CEOs see value in, and there are clearly many moments when the impact of mentoring can be felt. But, unsurprisingly, not all mentoring relationships will be a resounding success. Mia, what does a good relationship look like?
A good mentorship relationship is usually the type that has come about organically. You have found each other somehow through work, through connections. There is this interesting thing about really good mentoring relationships that there's a certain type of c'est pas quoi, like something that could not be put in words, that you just click, and there is a certain chemistry. So those are the really excellent beyond words mentoring relationships. Then, of course, there are good relationships that are not totally beyond this world, but there's a good emotional connection. There's a good exchange. The mentor also learns from the mentee and vice versa. There's respect. There's some admiration, and there's some feeling of growth that both people grow with this relationship. And because of the growth feeling, people usually to stay in it for a long time. Many mentoring relationships can take years, if not decades.
That's so true, Mia. The really powerful relationships can span many years and many different scenarios throughout your career, from when you're just starting out to when you are at the top of the house as a CEO. And it is such a rewarding relationship for both the mentor and the mentee. Our time in the lounge today has come to an end. In 30 seconds, this is what we've learned. For a mentoring relationship to be successful, chemistry is just as important as relevant expertise. You'll unlock the most from a mentor if you're willing to be vulnerable and honest. It's important to choose a mentor who can constructively challenge your thinking. And like most relationships, you get out of it what you put in. If you have any topics or burning questions you'd like us to cover in future episodes of Leadership Lounge, then please get in touch. Email your questions to redefiners@russellreynolds.com Or you can find us on LinkedIn, follow us on X @RRA on Leadership, find us on Instagram, or search for Leadership Lounge on YouTube. Until next time, goodbye.